Hey, good morning. I'm still at my daughter's here in Virginia. I'm going to be here for a couple more days and then I'll be heading back home. But I'm really enjoying this screen porch and being here with granddaughters and my daughter and my son-in-law. And today our devotional was found in Proverbs chapter 14. And the scripture that they chose for the devotional part, of course, is the whole chapter, but the key verse that they've chosen is the wise woman builds her house, but the foolish tears it down with her own hands. And so I personally went through the whole chapter and made a list that says wise and then foolish, because there are two types of individuals, not just women, but two types of individuals. There's a wise person and a foolish person. And I made a list throughout this chapter concerning the types of character and the types of actions and the types of attitudes and actions that a wise person would take in comparison to a foolish person. And I think it's important that we look at our own life to see in which category are we living in. Are we living in the wise column or are we living in the foolish column? I think it's important. The whole chapter has a lot of verbs and action words, and so we need to think about and think about our actions and think about the types of things that we're doing in really define, and not only define but measure what is going to be the outcome of those actions. You know, one of the things I did when I was really getting my life straightened out is I had heard from someone about doing a funeral exercise in which I imagined myself at the back of a funeral and it being my own. Who would I want to have been there at the funeral? And what would I want them to say about my life? You know, that really gets down to the impact that you want to leave in the world. And so as I did that, I wrote out the things that I really wanted people to say and who I wanted to believe that I was important enough that they would make it to my service. I wrote all those things out, and then I sat down and took a look at my life, and is the way I was operating my life at that time, was it going to equal what I wanted at the end? And it wasn't in a lot of areas. So I had to make some changes, and you know, that doesn't just happen overnight. You have to, if you want an outcome different than what you're doing, what it's going to add up to, you have to make some changes. And it took me a while to make those kinds of changes, but I can very gladly say that I've made those changes. And so I want to encourage you to think about that. Is your life going in the way that you want it to end up? Are you going to be pleased after you pass on with the legacy that you left? And if you're not, go ahead and start making the changes now so that you'll have a lifetime of those kinds of things in your past. And so my granddaughter is out here making bubbles for me, and we're just enjoying our morning together. So may you make the corrections in your life so that you'll get